That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Tron, ARES, the third film in the Tron franchise, the seventh film directed by Joachim Rønning, third as a solo director. It's being released courtesy of Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures on October 10th, 2025.
Do you know any of this director's other films?
Yeah, I think we reviewed Maleficent, Mistress of Evil.
Okay.
Which is the sequel. I have been aware of him. He's a Norwegian filmmaker back since 2008's Max Manus and a high-profile adaptation of Kon-Tiki. He also directed Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, which I've never seen, and Young Woman in the Sea with Daisy Ridley was his last feature.
What is Tron ARES about? A highly sophisticated program, ARES, is sent from the digital world into the real world on a dangerous mission. What is your pull quote?
Wow, that sounds real simple. If only the advanced AI programs languishing in the grid had been hired as script doctors for Tron ARES, then perhaps the remedial narrative and asinine dialogue could have matched the transfixing visual aesthetic of this digital punk extravaganza, a film best enjoyed with the accompaniment of hallucinogenics.
Mine. Slick visuals and a pulsating soundtrack can't save Tron ARES from its convoluted, silly narrative.
I think that it is a film best seen in the theater if you're going to see it. I will say I did enjoy it more than the 1982 original and the 2010 sequel, but it still feels... That score by Nine Inch Nails really helps a lot, but almost all of the dialogue is atrocious.
We saw it in IMAX in 3D. The story. So ARES is an advanced program that lives in the digital world or the grid, and that character is played by Jared Leto. Mm-hmm. And in the grid, his role is as Master Control. Mm-hmm. So I guess the villain would be Evan Peters, mm-hmm. Julian Dillinger.
Yes.
He's the grandson of Ed Dillinger. Mm-hmm. So his company has developed AI, and he has found a way to take what's in the virtual world and bring it to the real world via like 3D printing. But of course, as the villain, he wants to weaponize his technology. So he's come up with this soldier, ARES, and he's trying to sell that. And then he also shows off a tank. The gag is, though, his creations only last 29 minutes in the real world. So he's trying to find the permanence code to try to keep his products from disintegrating. The protagonist is Eve Kim, played by Greta Lee, and she's the CEO of ENCOM, which is the descendant of whatever company Jeff Bridges started in the original. Mm-hmm. And of course, she has developed similar technology, but her intention is to help mankind with making food, medicine, and so forth. So she is trying to find the permanence gene, and she does. But Evan Peters realizes that she has, so he sends ARES, Jared Leto, to take it from her. Mm-hmm. But it's very clear very quickly that ARES, Jared Leto's character, wants permanence.
Yes, his sentience has gone to his head, you could say.
Well, he also hears his master basically say that he's 100% disposable. Mm-hmm. There's also a scene where one of ARES' companions,
Caius,
is destroyed, mm-hmm. and Evan Peters' character doesn't give a damn.
Played by Cameron Monaghan, in a very kind of throwaway role, in more ways than one.
So the bulk of the movie is Jared Leto trying to find the permanence code with the help of Eve Kim. Why does she want to help him? Because Evan Peters puts Eve Kim in the virtual world. Mm-hmm.
To extract the permanence code, because she's destroyed the hard drive it's on, but since she's seen it, it is in her subconscious. But if they extract the permanence code from her subconscious in the grid, it will kill her, which means she will also die in the real world.
So Jared Leto says, I'll help you get out of here if you promise to help me find permanence. So she does. Of course, Evan Peters has another soldier who he sends to stop ARES and Eve Kim. That soldier's named Athena, played by Jodie Turner-Smith.
And obviously, Ares and Athena are the Greek gods of war.
ARES is able to find Permanence via a cameo from Jeff Bridges.
And Permanence actually is mortality.
Basically. So we get a moment where we're in the 1980s Tron virtual reality.
First gen.
And so we get Jeff Bridges sort of like vetting Jared Leto's character to see if he's legit. And I guess he feels comfortable giving this program the Permanence code.
It's giving Obi-Wan Kenobi, but yeah.
So now Ares is in the real world with Permanence, which means he has mortality. And he has a final showdown with Athena. He beats her. And I guess all's well that ends well. We see that Evan Peters recuses himself to the grid.
Uh-huh.
And
so there's a mid-credit scene that shows that he might be having a hard time getting used to his new reality.
Can we talk about that? Because when Evan Peters is in the grid during the mid-credit scene, why does he look so surprised? Didn't he create that grid? He's acting like he is surprised that this exists, that he can't believe what it looks like. I found that confusing. Because the first half of the film is Evan Peters as like, it reminded me of, what's the Wizard of Oz movie with James Franco?
The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, The Great and Powerful Oz?
Yeah.
Oz the Great and Powerful?
Because Evan Peters' character, when he's in the grid, is like this big face that talks like some sort of god to the programs. So I was kind of surprised that once he's in the grid, he's acting like he can't believe this exists.
Well, he's being outfitted automatically with the, whatever, what's the word I'm looking for? He's being shackled by the realm, per se, and gods don't want to be servants. So I think that's why he's upset.
Yeah, but he sent himself there.
To escape imprisonment in the real world, but
I just thought it was odd that his reaction to being there seems contrary to the fact that he sent himself to this world he created and he knows what it's about. He's looking around like, I can't believe this exists.
Right, but he has no control in this realm. So, that's upsetting to people of that ilk.
And we see Eve Kim has now used her technology to help the world. And Jared Leto's character is on a world tour.
Yeah. Don't know how he's making money to travel. Traveling's expensive, especially to Europe.
When we meet Ares and throughout the film, his character has long, very dark hair.
Like a raven.
But now that he's in Europe, living, laughing, and loving, he fully has highlights, which I thought was so funny.
Yeah, that's once I saw Jared Leto and Hassan Minaj, yeah, that's his name, Hassan Minaj were in it, I was like, oh, I'm really going to have a hard time with this. But considering how much I usually dislike Jared Leto, him as running around as a robot, not as distracting as you might think. It's only at the very last scene where I cringed hard at his
Well, him as a person was cringy,
yes.
But him as this robot, I kind of thought worked well.
Yeah, same with Jodie Turner-Smith, who I think was my favorite part.
Well, she's going on my worst hair and makeup list because her character has eyeliner on that changes throughout the film. When we first meet her, it looks like she took a charcoal crayon and just went like this on both eyes. It's like crusty and uneven. It's noticeably not well done. Then at one point, it's straight up blue. Then towards the end, it's getting thicker. And the final shot of her, she looks like a raccoon.
I think that was supposed to signify some kind of change in her character, and I think we need to get into how AI is personified with these human characteristics. But it was kind of that makeup problem was giving like Jeffrey Boyer Chapman in Canada's Drag Race as the judge with that. But no, I think there are some raggedy elements about that. But her persona playing artificial intelligence, she really worked in that role for me, and I quite liked her presence and her energy.
We get to see Robin Roberts as a anchor on GMA talking about the happenings of ENCOM and Evan Peters' company. So Evan Peters, his character's mom is played by Gillian Anderson.
Elizabeth.
I liked her.
Yeah, and I think the names mean a lot in this because Elizabeth, I think, is also a reference to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein comes up quite a bit. Like they directly show us a copy of the film, and then there's a quote that is used more than once. I can feel and therefore and am therefore powerful, and all of that felt really kind of hackneyed and shackled or tacked on.
So Gillian Anderson, I think, brings a lot to the role, but her dialogue was basic.
It's a bit like Sigourney Weaver in Chappie, who I think does something similar in that film, but the dialogue is like, you're giving a woman like these lines to say?
Evan Peters was screechy.
A little bit.
Also, his character had like full body tattoos. Like you see them cover his forearms, you see them peeking through his t-shirt, like almost his neck. Were you fully expecting him to be shirtless at one point?
I thought we were going to see what we're like. We're supposed to see something significant.
Yeah, but we never do.
No.
So I thought that was an odd choice, unless they plan on making another one where we do see him shirtless. But
I'm sure if it makes money, the ending would have me believe that he's coming back in some shape, way, or form. But
I did think Hassan Minaj was annoying in this one.
Yeah, he has yet to not be annoying to me.
Which is strange because he's the CTO for ENCOM, the company Greta Lee's character runs. And she seems like a very nice person. I just found it odd that she would have someone like him be her CTO.
Yeah, it doesn't fit. But notably, the backstory with her is her sister, who she was closer to than anyone else in the world, has died of cancer. So that is kind of something that's motivating her character. But, you know, nobody doesn't like Greta Lee. But she is corny as hell in this.
In the beginning of the film, we see Greta Lee's character go to some hideout that her sister maintained, trying to find the permanence code because they know Jeff Bridges' character
had created it
and hid it somewhere. And so they go, they find it, it works. But her assistant...
Oh, God. Arturo Castro is ruinous in this.
Oh,
Terrible.
He was so annoying. I'm sorry. I'm sure I would like him in something else, but in this, he was driving me crazy.
Just like Hassan Minaj doesn't make any sense for somebody like how Greta Lee's character is behaving. I don't understand what she has him doing. He's just there to yammer at her and distract. I really don't have an understanding of what he contributes other than yipping at her.
So ENCOM is launching a new game called Space Paranoids, which I thought was an awkward name. And Eve Kim is not there. But it's during that time when Evan Peters' character breaks into ENCOM's grid.
But he's like, doot.
I found it crazy that he was able to so easily break into the protagonist's grid.
It takes nothing.
Who's also a tech genius.
Right. It's like and then Gillian Anderson going, oh, you shouldn't do that, but let's see.
And then he sends in his soldiers, including Ares and Athena. And hers, because there are soldiers within the grid. I'm not familiar with the first two films, so I don't know if this is common knowledge, but she has soldiers fighting back, but they can't compete with Jared Leto. So they're able to get away with all of her information. So Ares, Jared Leto's character, knows all about Eve Kim. He's read all of her text messages, all of her emails.
All about Eve Kim.
Oh, I have to mention, at one point when Athena is tasked with finding Eve Kim, there's a scene where we see Athena running. And the sound editing for her running was crazy. She was stomping so hard.
Running up a circular, whatchamacallit, parking structure driveway? Ramp. God, what's my brain tonight?
It reminded me of the ramp in downtown LA for...
The block. For Alamo
Drafthouse.
Yeah, that's a treacherous infrastructure.
So I feel like the plot is convoluted, and I wish we would have played more with... Because every time Ares and Athena are deployed, they only have 29 minutes. Yet somehow that time frame there's no sense of urgency to the story.
No, not really. And it seems that, because at least according to how Jodie Turner-Smith is acting, that each time that they kind of die in the real world, it seems painful and horrible. Like
Yeah,
every
they
time she does,
disintegrate.
she's screaming. But all of this feels really cobbled together from, of course, all kinds of other things, including when we meet Evan Peters showing the board of directors of the company this new technology that he's developed, the weaponry, which is very much like RoboCop if you mix it with, as presented by Daft Punk.
Yeah. Yeah, RoboCop. I'm getting like Edge of Tomorrow.
Deal of the Century,
Mickey 17.
that William Friedkin film, which was a satire about this kind of very same thing.
When Ares gets Eve Kim out of the grid, they only have 29 minutes to find the permanence code. So Eve Kim steals like a moving van. Mm-hmm. But Ares is like, we're not going to get to where we need to go in time driving this thing. So they stop at a gas station so that Eve Kim can use a cell phone to contact her assistant. And while she's doing that, Ares steals a car. And we've learned that he's really into like 80s. I've kind of felt like it was at this point that the character got a little corny.
Yes.
Because he steals like an early 2000s Honda Civic, and he starts talking about the car and how it's a cool ride, classic. He says that several times. Mm-hmm. And then he makes mention of Depeche Mode like 3 times. There's even a scene with Ares and Jeff Bridges' character, mm-hmm. where Jeff Bridges asks Ares, what do you like about Depeche Mode? And ultimately he says, I don't know, it's just a feeling. And I guess that's what
passes the test to get the permanence code. But if you remember a very popular song from Boston, when they hear that old song, it's more than a feeling.
Oh, getting back to the time and no sense of urgency. In the final showdown, mm-hmm. when Ares has found permanence and Athena has been sent to stop him and get the code, she employs this huge Star Wars looking machine, and baby, she couldn't have traveled slower.
Yeah, just like, you don't have a lot of time, girl.
You have 29 minutes, and then we see that it took her like how many minutes to get to the...
And it's this big Tetris block looking thing, and it's like you can only go down one street.
That made no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because previously she had like her own flying device that moved much more quickly.
Yeah, like why didn't you just use that again?
Why would you take the slowest craft possible when you know you only have 29 minutes?
But I did really like how, again, the vibe of it with the Nine Inch Nails score, which it feels, I prefer their Challenger score slightly more to this, but it's definitely a vibe, and it was kind of giving me Ghostbusters 2 vibes with all the shit going on in the city, the red threads that come out that are helping to capture Greta Lee's character.
Yeah, and again, I think it looks great.
Oh, it was shot by Jeff Cronenworth, who has, of course, shot a couple of very notable David Fincher films, including Fight Club and Gone Girl. But also, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is similar vibe. But notably, I thought of Blade Runner several times, of course, because of these sentient artificial beings that all they want to do, or at least one of them, is be a real human.
Right.
But Jeff Cronenworth's dad was a very notable cinematographer, Jordan Cronenworth, who was the cinematographer on that film. Oh. And of course, Jared Leto was in Blade Runner 2049.
Oh.
So I don't know. Those things were all swirling around in my head in a nice enough way. But you know what I found interesting that I kind of want to touch on is with the casting of Jodie Turner-Smith as Athena, who should be the equal of Ares, but the dangling carrot for her is being master control. When Jared Leto is directed to extract the code from Greta Lee while she's in the grid, despite it killing her, and he disobeys and doesn't tell Athena, Athena goes around his back to tell Evan Peters, Dillinger, and he's holding it over her head that she's probably going to be next in line for power. But I think the casting of Leto and Turner-Smith is interesting because, the visuals are curious because it's like, well, how does this benefit her? Wouldn't it benefit her to follow Ares? But it's just, the dynamics of it are interesting that, of course, next in line for power, instead of toppling the patriarchy, feeds into the brainwashing.
I also found it strange that in the beginning of the film, when Evan Peters' character gives a demonstration of his technology and he presents Ares and this tank, and he talks about they have like the most high-tech safeguards, mm-hmm. that these programs would never disobey an order. And almost immediately, Ares has that look in his eyes like, I don't like the way they're treating me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Athena, later on, you know, she ends up killing Gillian Anderson.
Yeah, because she is a threat to the command that she is following.
I feel like Athena was, as this program, was interpreting the rules in her own way. So it's just very odd that both Ares and Athena seem to be more sentient than they should be right away.
Yeah, well, they are following their own desires. Whether she's choosing still to be reined in by the master, even though it would benefit her to destroy him, they still are pursuing their own interests. So that's definitely a problem.
I think this story is trying to do too much because it's tying in the legacy films,
Yeah.
while also having not one but two different programs that ultimately lack depth. Which I guess you could say, duh, they're programs, they're not people. But they are main characters, Ares and Athena. Mm-hmm. I thought Eve Kim was so corny.
She's so corny. I like Greta Lee, especially in Past Lives. This is opening the same day as she has a brief role in the Catherine Bigelow film, House of Dynamite, as well. And it's nice to see an Asian woman leading a major Hollywood franchise film, but the writing for her character is not it.
What would you give Tron Ares?
2.
Yeah, I didn't think this worked. I would give it 2 out of 5. Join us on Patreon and listen to our podcast. Bye.